Everybody, please welcome back to the program our friend Jay Baruchel. G'day, sir. How are you, man? How are you, my friend? Good. How you doing? Nice to see you, man. Likewise. Jay Baruchel.
Yep.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Shalom.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm well, thanks. You're making horror movies, Jay. I like this.
Trying, getting it going.
I like this. How much of it has to do with the fact that when you were 9 years old, your mom took you to see the Holy Grail?
I think, yeah, I remember. I was like, my parents, yeah, rented Monty Python, the Holy Grail, and they're trying to explain to me, and they're like, all right, now this is dry humor. And I remember, like, some of the smarter jokes kind of were lost on me, but I really loved all the gore, and it's all just a flesh wound and all that stuff. And I remember then, like, shortly after that, Mom showed me Road Warrior, and that's not a non-violent movie. And
your mom's pretty badass.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah. Well, it's just like, I don't know. I'm a testament to you can show a kid anything as long as you raise them properly. That's why I always get super angry when anybody blames sort of real violence on movies or video games or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's absolutely preposterous. You know, I saw, yeah, Road Warrior is 9, Lethal Weapon around the same time. Those are gory movies. I love seeing guys get their heads blown open in movies, not in real life. Right. It's a different thing. It's a different thing completely.
You have this really interesting development as a leading man. You are an unlikely leading man.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you.
But you are a leading man.
Apparently,
yeah. You have these.
I'm the lead in some movies, so yeah, I guess, and I'm a man, I think. So.
But you have those things where you're chasing the girl, even in Sorcerers, right? You're like you're becoming that guy. Yet you always your character always gets to be uncomfortable with his position.
Yeah.
You know, I wondered at a certain point, are you going to be comfortable in that position?
Me or my characters?
Both.
I've always been comfortable. No, that was like a lot of times when I was like promoting She's Out of My League, people always be like, so how can a 10 go for a 5? And have you ever gone out with someone who's out of your league? I'm like, constantly. No, but like...
Implication being, what, I'm a 5?
Yeah, well, that's number one. That was that did wonders for my ego, that whole marketing campaign. I was like, come on, guys, you can't just 1, 6, give me a 6, you know? A 5 is a fail, you know, but I was just like, but, you know, in truth, my mother raised me to think that I was a catch, and so, you know, I didn't grow, you know, for most of high school. I got into puberty and everything late, right? Like for the bulk of high school, I was maybe 5 feet and about 90 pounds, you know, and I look real young anyway, and so I looked like some sort of like super genius kid that got into school. Like I was 8 years old, but I'm in high school.
You're a Doogie Howser, right?
Yeah, Doogie Howser kind of thing, yeah. But even then, and I was aware that I was smaller and weirder than everyone else, I still hit on the hottest girls and the prettiest ones and the tall ones. I was like, why wouldn't they want to be with this?
Sure. So you didn't feel like an outsider in school then?
I did. Well, the first high school I went to was closed down now. It was arguably the worst English high school in Montreal. I carried a knife on me every day of grade 7 because I got
a switchblade or an open knife?
Well, it's because I got a butterfly pulled on me my first day of school there. And it was, this kid Quincy saying, "You want a tango?" And I was like, "No, Quincy, I don't want a tango." And then you know, and I didn't have any good weapons, so I just took my dad's Swiss Army and carried it with me. And like, I'd be in class, and if I thought stuff was getting crazy, I'd just start to like, okay, I'm ready. And so there, I felt definitely out of place. I was definitely the only kid on the honor roll who got suspended for fighting. It was a terrible school. But then when I switched and I went to a school called FACE, which stands for Fine Arts Core Education, I all of a sudden became the alpha male. You know, when you're surrounded by like communists and hippies, all of a sudden I become the most masculine guy there, and it's you know, it's just.
Did you draw on that for the Trotsky, those guys?
Well, a little bit, to be honest. You know, you rebel against your surroundings, right? And traditionally, a kid's surroundings are more conservative than the kid is, right? And so that's why they always rebel, and you know, but for me, my surroundings were incredibly liberal, incredibly lefty, you know, and I remember the summer between grade 10 and 11, half the class came back, were like, yeah, well, I'm bisexual. Everyone was bisexual. And you know, and I'd constantly have to hear about, you know, exploitation, all this stuff. And so you rebel. So I'm embarrassed to say that for grade 11, I adopted this this awful right-wing persona, just to bug everyone, right? Like, I got sick of hearing the same things, and so
Who was your model? Who did you look at and say, that's the right-wing guy I'm going to be?
Alex P. Keaton.
Amazing.
I'd wear sweater vests and argue on behalf of American foreign policy and the death penalty and all these repulsive things that, like, yeah, and then, like, I spent 2 months in the States. I was like, yeah, I was really wrong. I was completely wrong.
Well, I was thinking about this. I was in LA in the summer, and I went to see your film. And I was wondering, what's your goal? Do you want to be a director? Do you want to get more off-screen as opposed to... What's your plan?
It's weird because, you know, at a certain point, it seems like a lot of actors, after they've acted for a while, they say, like, yeah, I'd like to try directing. But I promise, I wanted to be a director since I was 9 years old, and I started acting at 12. So I promised that even when I started at 12, my mom said, you know, you want to be a director, this will be a great way for you to be on set and to learn how to make movies. So for me, acting has provided my family a great life, one that we never would have otherwise had. That being said, it's never been my raison d'etre. Like, it's not what I think about when I get up in the morning. All I want to do is make horror movies in Montreal. And so what I'm trying to do right now, to answer your question, is I'm trying to get that side of my life going, you know, and I'm really, really proud to say that finally something I wrote we're shooting it in Winnipeg.
Is that the Goon movie?
This is called The Goon, yeah. It's going to be this badass hockey picture about an enforcer on a minor league team in Halifax.
This is a film you wrote.
Yes,
sir.
What
about directing? When are you going to do that?
Hopefully after that, you know, like that was, you know, I'm writing something right now with my writing partner Jesse called Pig, and hopefully that'll be my directorial debut.
What's Pig about?
Pig is, this fairly heavy reimagining of the slasher genre. It's about a drug-addicted, middle-aged white cop that chases 4 black kids throughout the ghetto on July 4th. So it's...
Hold a sec. You're making a cop film where a white racist cop chases black kids and you're calling it Pig.
Yep.
That's a moment, man.
Oh, I know. No, but that's what's best in horror, man. Yeah. That's what's best in horror is it's.
So it's not a larger statement. It's just more about this particular guy.
Yeah, I mean, it is and it isn't. It's many things. To me, I wanted to make like a working class minority nightmare, you know, because all the best things in horror are A, polarizing, and B, based on a true, actual fear. And, you know, like, for me, in the neighborhood I grew up in, my little group of friends on my street, I was, like, pretty much the only white kid. Everyone else was Jamaican. And so, like, I remember that, you know, when we'd see a cop cruiser come by, that often it didn't represent any feeling of security. When they saw it, it was quite the opposite. The look of the cruiser and the sound of the sirens coming and the guys in the uniform, it didn't mean security. It meant quite the opposite. It was a predator to them. Right. And I just thought that would be an interesting thing to talk about.
It's a big moment in one's career when you make a film like that. Do you ever think about making a film like that might prevent you from getting some of the other films, the family films that you've been able to do?
Yeah, but that would be worth it then, man, because like that's, you know, like I like what I do, but my ambition is to make movies like that, and to me the worst thing I could do is be involved in something that people are like, yeah, it's okay, it's kind of like porridge and wallpaper, you know. Like I want people to either love it or really, really hate it.
So it's in a sense, it's a modern day Cassavetes is what you're going for.
I mean, like you know, I'll never ever compare myself to him, but I've been inspired by his model in that as an actor, he would go and do kind of studio pictures in LA that he didn't really have an emotional connection to, but he used the money he made on that to bankroll all these great indie movies, right? And that's kind of like my whole life. That's been my ideal. That's been the model. That's been the goal. It's been the means to an end, right? Like, and along the way, I've gotten to be in some awesome flicks as well. Totally. But at the end of the day, yeah, the goal is to scare the hell out of people.
Anthropology, Jay. You're going to answer these questions in Will-apology. We'll figure something else out about you.
All right.
Who's an actor you'd love to work with?
Oh boy, I'd say the big four for me. I have to go. I can't do just one. Big four for me. Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman, Rowan Atkinson, Michael Richards.
Val Kilmer.
Oh, he's Tombstone.
Oh yeah. Top Secret.
Top Secret.
Yeah. What scares you the most?
Oh, vomit, roller coasters, and intimacy.
They often lead to each other, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Where's the fear of intimacy come from?
Oh, I'm very Anglo-Saxon. I don't like people touching me.
Trotsky. Trotsky was murdered in Mexico. What do you think your demise will be?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd like it to be that I smoke weed to death. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something, just something cozy and comfortable. Yeah.
Who's somebody from your past that you just love to see again? You know that Bobby McGee moment, just one more day?
Yeah, right.
Who would it be?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. I don't know. I got to chill with Ted Nugent for a day. That was awesome, and he was real nice, yeah. And he pulled out his Bowie knife. Yeah, it was wicked.
Did you call him Uncle Ted?
I did not call him Uncle Ted, but yeah, we talked about a lot of things, and he sold me on the merits of bow hunting.
Nice, nice. But you have very different values from him.
I do and I don't, although I couldn't argue against him. He said, Jay, do you eat meat? I said, yes, I love meat. He said, well, why not eat the best meat? He said, when you eat beef, do you know where it comes from? Do you know what they've done to it and how many stuff it's been injected with? He goes, me, I take my bow, I go out to the woods, I kill a deer, I feed my family. And I was like, yeah, I can't argue with that.
No, that's true. Everybody knows about the tattoo over your chest. I've seen it in the movies. You have a tattoo. Is that your mother's maiden name?
That's my mother's maiden name.
Any plans for new ink?
Oh, well, I got another one. It's just the Celtic cross I got to represent my mother's side of the family. And yeah, and then I'll get the Magen David here, and then eventually my neighborhood on my back and Born to Lose on my stomach.
The film is called Good Neighbors. You must see it. Jay Baruchel, everybody. Thanks, brother.
You're making a movie. I want to be a part of it.
I'm telling you, Stroumboulopoulos.com is the website. We'll talk to you next time.